powerful questions to ask yourselves every once in a while. If you had your lives to live over, what would you do differently about how you lived and the way you went about your daily routines? These people over age of 95, they had multiple answers to give. But there were three answers that kept coming up time and time again. These elderly people said, if we had our lives to live over, we would reflect more. Number two, we would risk more. And number three, we would do more things that would live on after we were dead. I think about those three parts, and the one that really jumps out to me is to do more things that will live on after you are dead. What is the best?
But my mommy wasn't mad at me. She came to school and she told my teacher and my principal that anyone who calls her baby a monkey deserves to get in as much trouble as I got into. And all she said to me was that next time, instead of punching somebody in the face, I could talk on the problems with my teacher or my mommy. But she didn't punish me. That's why I love my mommy so much. Oh, listen, I gotta go take a wee with my pee-pee. Well, my principal...
We wear this mask, we act like we one way when back in our heads, we think stuff differently than some of our friends think we think. Right? I wish I could be like Rick, man. Keisha's beautiful. Yes, she looks like Beyonce, but come on, man, stop. Man, I'm more attracted to you. Rewind. Captain of the football team, right? Hopefully go to college, play some football next year. Black man. Did he just say he's gay? Yo, how does a guy getting a girl he wants in the school wind up liking dudes? In my school, worst thing you could ever be called is gay.
Get rid of those things that are different because they don't belong. So whose fault was it by third grade we're such brilliant kids that we don't need the piece of paper anymore? Because see, by third grade, we got the lesson. We could practice on each other in the hallways. I don't like them because they're Muslims. I heard my parents said Muslims are bad people. They bombed our country. We should bomb all their countries. Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Afghanistan. Who cares? Just cross them out. I wouldn't go out with him because he's too fat to cross them out. This retard, cross them out. I don't like them because they're too ghetto, cross them out. I don't like them Mexicans because them Mexicans don't speak English good. I'm tired of Mexicans taking away jobs from us good, hard-working Americans. Uncle Sam says learn to speak English or go back home to Mexico. But they're Dominican. They're Mexicans! Cross them out! And we walk around.
And the way that guys will treat you like you're just like a piece of meat. It's really annoying. But even worse than guys, I think the girls are even worse. Even though I have issues with most guys, I'd much rather have a good guy as my best friend than most girls. Because at least with guys, because they are simpler creatures, you kind of know what you get with a guy. If a guy says yes about something, he's basically saying yes. But girls are different. Girls will pretend to be your friend and then go home on MySpace or Facebook or Twitter and rip you apart. And see, guys see that, and that's why they try to take advantage of us. I think it's about time we as girls and women become a true sisterhood.
It's over 14. The bell rings between 5th and 6th period. My name gets called over the loudspeaker, and I'm called down to the principal's office. So I go down to the principal's office. They bring me back to the principal's office, and inside that office is the principal, 2 counselors, and a police officer. They ask me to sit down and try to remain calm. So I start to freak out. And then they tell me the following. They say, we need to tell you this. 2 or 3 hours ago, your grandpa was walking downtown. He was crossing the street. A car ran a red light, hit your grandpa, and he's in the hospital. So the police officer, he was mad cool. He put his hand on my shoulder because I started tripping. Right? I put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, listen, just calm down. It's going to be okay. So we go to the hospital. I try to see my grandpa. They won't let me see him because he's in surgery. So I get really upset because this is the man who's everything to me. So I'm just like, why are we so afraid to acknowledge each other? That's the real question. I met this freshman student last year at a school in North Jersey. He came up to me after my performance, and he said to me in a very awkward way, but he provided me the answer I've been looking for. He said, Dr. Mykee, I know and smiled at the guy on the bridge. So why not? He said, that's easy. They did exactly what they were supposed to do, but not what they needed to do. And I stood there and I was like, you're right. You're right. The people on that bridge that day did exactly what they were supposed to do. we're raised from very young, hey, don't talk to strangers, don't stare, and then we start to get older, and what happens is that we interpret that message to mean, don't acknowledge anyone you don't know. I don't want you to feel sorry for me, oh poor guy, look at him. Don't feel sorry for me, I'm happy. I feel very blessed, because at least I get to see people for who they really are, and not just who they pretend to be. But don't make fun of me either. That hurts my feelings. I have feelings. Like the other day I was in a store and this kid was making faces at me. You know the faces, right? He was trying to imitate my face, which is impossible to look this good. No, he was trying to make fun of me, right? And I was about to smack him over his head and his mom yanked him by the ear and she started yelling at him. And I swear, this is what she said. She said, young man, I raised you better than that. You embarrassed me. Why would you make fun of that nice man there? Why would you do something so stupid? Sounds pretty good so far, right? But then she says, I swear, this is what she said. She says, don't you know that if you make fun of him, God will punish you to make you look like him? I put the gun in my mouth, and I remember taking the gun out of my mouth and putting it to my head. And you know what's crazy? Yeah, when you're thinking about suicide, when you really think about suicide, you think some of the funniest thoughts inside your head. I had the gun to my head. I was looking down on the ground, and I saw this book. This book called One Child. I love to read. This is the best book I read in my life. True story about this little girl named Sheila. She was 6 years old, and she had nobody because her mommy had abandoned her on the highway, and her papa used to physically beat her up every day. And one day Sheila got this idea in her head that she was going to kidnap somebody. She's 6 years old. She's going to kidnap somebody.